and social justice married together. And that's what he's afraid of.
Yeah. No, the Jaguar God kind of spooked me there, but I'm not really spooked by Christians. In fact, I love Christians. I am a Christian. I am a little disappointed with people who distort the gospel of Jesus Christ, but that's for him to work out, you know. But I would hesitate on insisting that government is responsible for feeding and clothing the poor, rather than each of us individually, Jim.
Are you then calling for the redistribution of wealth in society?
Absolutely. Without any hesitation. That's what the gospel is all about.
Come on, seriously. You didn't know Jesus was a Marxist. If you could show me a single passage in the King James Version of the Bible, I only point that out because I don't know what, I mean, is there a Che version of the Bible where Jesus empathetically states that Rome or any government power is supposed to see to those in need, not the individual, as in, you know, the story of the Good Samaritan, which I think I understand is up to the individual. If you could show me that, Jim, I'll join you in your worldwide social justice campaign. But Jimmy, you know you can't, because it's not there. Jesus wasn't about social justice as you define it. He was about equal justice. You know, the let he who is without sin cast the first stone kind of thing. As were our founders. It's so insidious what these people are doing. And now the AFL-CIO, which I go to for all of my spiritual teaching. I go to the unions. They're now in our churches. The National Council of Churches, the United Church of Christ, which is Jeremiah Wright's church. And the AFL-CIO presented their visions for solving the country's protracted jobs crisis. In the coming months, Faith Advocates for Jobs campaign will organize congregational-based unemployment worker support committees. That's great. Are you going to do that, guys? You are great. Advocate public policy initiatives to address the ongoing jobs crisis. Oh, so you can mix church and state. Fantastic. Then you can develop educational programs and resources in support of job creation and a restored economy. It's the AFL Organizing for Social Justice Dream Train. It's great. If I may, just call out the Black Robe Brigade here and the 912 Project and every Tea Party member that is within the sound of my voice. You must hear me. You must be active in your church. You must help those this Christmas and beyond Christmas who are right now unemployed. I have been unemployed for quite some time. I remember what it's like. It screws with you hard. There are people now making a play for the hearts of people who are vulnerable. Do not allow these people to be vulnerable. Embrace them because it is the Christian thing to do, not because you want some government program. We don't need an organization like the AFL-CIO to do it. We need our hearts to do it. Please reach out to those in need. Faith, hope, and charity. So, let's look at what we have here. We have the UN leaders in Cancun doing their part for faith, calling on the Jaguar goddess. Oh, I love that. We have presidential advisors distorting the message of Jesus. We have the AFL-CIO working with our churches, faith, and a president who believes in collective salvation.
My individual salvation is not going to come about without a collective salvation for the country.
My individual salvation rests on our collective salvation.
Our individual salvation always depends on collective salvation.
Our individual salvation depends on collective salvation.
Got it. He should talk to Jim Wallace because Jim Wallace just said the opposite earlier. Look, I don't know who worships the Jaguar goddess besides pagans and atheists. But there are people that are cloaking themselves as religious leaders. We need to fight it, but not with pitchforks or guns or torches or anything else that Claire McCaskill or Ronald Reagan Jr. or Van Jones might suggest, but with something much, much, much more powerful. Our faith. The truth is a fire. Truth is the fire of God, and we will take you there next. 6 months ago, I started something called theblaze.com. It follows a lot of the stories that I talk about, but I want to tell you why I named it The Blaze. We've talked about it several times on this program. The blaze of the burning bush, the one that Moses saw on Mount Sinai, the bush that burned with fire, but the fire did not consume. Then there was the pillar of fire, the same fire that led the Israelites out of Egypt. Benjamin Franklin wanted that fire in the seal. It's right there. There's the pillar. It's the fire of God, which is the fire of truth. Not a lot of Americans know the story of the Great Seal, but the imagery for that seal was never used. It was suggested by Benjamin Franklin in August 76, but he chose the scene described in Exodus, where people were confronted by the Pharaoh, and they had God hold the Pharaoh back while they gained their freedom. It was depicted in this drawing in 1856. The motto, "Rebellion to tyrants is obedience of God," was a favorite among Jefferson. All throughout the scriptures, I've noticed, in the Old Testament, fire is used to represent God's truth. Before 828, I spent almost a year just with Moses and trying to think about all of this stuff, and I realized that truth is a fire that burns. I told you that all lies were going to burn down. That's what's happening with Assange right now in the WikiLeaks. But if you stand with him, I have told you before, in that flame, if you get rid of everything that is untrue in your life and you live an honest life, you will not be consumed. The fire, the blaze, consumes all lies, all untruth, but not truth. God is not on anyone's side. He's not. You need to put yourself in a position to where you're on his side, and the fire of truth will protect you. Ronald Reagan said there are no easy answers, but there are simple ones. When a baseball team is getting their head handed to them, the coach always says, back to the basics. Let's go back to the bases. Well, in a complex world, we need that. We think we need a complex answer, but we don't. We need to go back to the basics. The part of the solution, you must know history. You must then search yourself inside and out, purify yourself. What do you truly believe? What is worth taking a billy club or a fire hose? You know, you're going to get a billy club in the head. You got to know you believe it. And you must be charitable at all times. You must get involved with your faith. You must realize also that there are millions of Americans just like you. Stand in the blaze. We surround them, not the other way around. Wilmington, Ohio, once named to the list of the best small towns in America, but 2 years ago, Wilmington, they say, was devastated by the economy. The town isn't dead. Instead of looking for a handout, the people have turned to faith, hope, and charity.
We're not waiting for someone to come save us. We're going to save ourselves, and we're going to do it together.
We've had our confidence in our government. We've had our confidence in our jobs. And right now, things seem so uncertain, and really the only thing that's certain right now is God.
For our family, for me, that we feel that as part of our relationship with the Lord as being Christians, that we value praying for other people, that we think it's important to lift up other people's needs more than our own.
I know God is hearing their prayers, but I think of nothing else. And it just encourages me, builds my faith, builds my family's faith.
Will God not grant justice to his elect who are crying out day and night? Yes, he will. He'll do that and grant it speedily. That's why we encourage each other.
It could have been great heartbreak, and in a sense, it was. But heartbreak is always different when you're around people who are going to hold you up, who are going to take care of you.
In spite of everything that has happened, the situation with DHL packing up and leaving, and all of that unemployment, we're going to be a stronger, better community 5 years from now than we were 5 years ago.
I do believe that God is trying to show an example of His kingdom, and that if a community in times of hardship will love the broken and pull together. We have 32 churches involved. Each church does 1 meal a month.
When a girl came in, she had a young child. She came in, desperately needed a job. She had no unemployment, and she didn't know what she was going to do. My front desk staff member said, I will cut my hours by this many. You can give them to that young girl and her child. I can do that.
It's exciting to see people return and paying it forward to help others, watching them to encourage those who are where they were at one time.
I would like to ask you to join me in Wilmington, Ohio on December 15th, where we will celebrate live the spirit of the holiday season. It will be just like America's first Christmas. Go to glennbeck.com/Ohio for more information. From New York, good night, America.